Great news, everybody. This review, it basically writes itself, because Joyride, Survival of the Fastest, is the perfect middle point between Thunder Road Vendetta and Heat, Pedal to the Metal. And that's basically all you need to know. Thunder Road is full on silly, whilst Heat is very slick and serious. And Joyride? It does a bit of both. Wacky dice are the star of the show in Thunder Road, but tactical card play is the highlight in Heat. And guess what? There's tactical dice in Joyride. Heat's box is too deep, and Thunder Road's box is too long. And Joyride's box is just right. Don't look at that stuff. I've not even been using its full name. You've got Heat, Pedal to the Metal, Thunder Road, Vendetta, and now Joyride, Survival of the Fastest. It's so obviously the third entry into this spiritual trilogy of Bacoland games about cars. And so, on the surface, is Joyride the best of both worlds? A perfect melding of the two? Is it the best racing game that Shut Up and Sit Down has ever played? I don't know. No, let's not be silly here. The real answer obviously lies somewhere in between, dependent on a large helping of personal preference. So let's work out if Joyride is for you. It's time to race. The first person to cross the finish line wins. None of this furthest over business. The moment someone hits the checkerboard of dreams, the flag is waved and a winner is crowned. And turns in this game are super simple. You follow this jaunty procession of 5 steps, but only 3 of them are actually important in learning how to play the game. First, you lock. Pick some of your dice on your player board and lock them into these slots, moving your car forward by that many spaces. Second, you shift. You can jump up or down a gear, changing the total number of dice that you're allowed to have. Ooh, let's go up to gear 4, shall we? Adding an extra dice to our player board. And finally, you roll. Any dice you didn't lock or any that you just added are now rolled, moving you forward that many spaces again. You then take back all of your dice, keeping them on the faces that they were on, and put them in the middle of your player board, ready to be rolled or locked again next turn. And then you keep playing rounds over and over again until someone is declared a winner. But whoa, slow down there, Thomas. You've clearly missed a very important rule. When, in all of this, am I gonna get to steer? Well, that is a great question. Thanks. Because Joyride's entire design hinges on it. You get to steer once in a turn, before you lock or before you roll, and only in single increments, and this can get lethal. And of course, you want to stay ahead of the pack. You want to remain in a nice high gear and move lots of spaces on your turn, but that opens you up to the very real risk of rolling lots of dice and crunching straight into a collision. Now the dice only go between 1 and 3, so you can mostly run the numbers and calculate your risks, until you're rolling altogether too many dice and you've just got to take the bones in hand and pray to Johnny Chance.
Hello. What's he praying for? 3 ones? Or else he hits the wall? You know what to do.
I hate that guy. And so getting around the board is already an interesting puzzle. Managing your speed, timing your turns, making sure you've got the right numbers to lock at any given time, and avoiding all this clutter that's on the track. It makes for exciting races. It's a great, simple system. And that'd be fine. You've got a good game right there. But there's potentially 3 more entire people on this track, and they're going to present problems. Player-on-player collisions are such a huge part of Joyride that the entire other side of the player aid is dedicated just to resolving the different flavors of crash. Flavors we will explore in this instructional tape.
The first kind of collision you must acquaint yourself with is the smash, as it must be avoided at all costs. Colliding with a barrier will take you all the way down to gear 0, ruining your momentum. It also causes a damage to your vehicle. Your car has become metal mincemeat. I'm so sorry. Sideswipes are more common, and they take the award for silliest near-fatal accident. As you collide into the other vehicle, simply rotate it, like so. Oh my goodness, that's a mess. A real dog's ass. You get away scot-free though. You lucky boy. Rear ends and head-ons are mostly the same, shunting whatever is in your way forward. Any movement you had going for you is halved. Pile-ups will happen when multiple cars are prevented from moving by walls, and everyone involved resolves a smash. Look at this. Oh my god. It looks like total omelette. He's f***ed it. Smashes and pile-ups will cause your car to take damage. Every damage will lock off a core system, lowering your highest gear, preventing you from locking dice, or blocking your item slots. And it can never be repaired. Your mistakes are irreversible. Now get back on that track and cause some chaos, you sparkling idiot. And if you want to see all of these collisions in action, or find out if Joyride is for you, then watch our playthrough. These chumps filmed a full 2 laps of this silly game, and you can watch the results by becoming a donor to Shut Up and Sit Down this month. You'll get access to this, as well as a bundle of bonus videos and podcasts past and future. Links, as always, are in the description. Thank you very much.
I feel as though I might have buried the lead here just a little bit by talking about these collisions a little bit further into the video than I might normally, because these are the very first thing I think of when I picture a game of Joyride. But I didn't want to talk about them right away because I think it might give people the wrong impression. This isn't a Thunder Road situation. It's not completely unleaded goofs and gaffs 100% of the time. Joyride's best asset is in that bridging of the gap. It's smart, but not sweaty. It's silly, but not zany. Anyway, the point stands that car crashes are great. I love the way that these vehicles are chunky wooden totems, jutting out of the board, commandeering 2 entire hexes. They feel like they should, lumbering hunks of metal, skidding around corners, crunching into one another, rattling apart one lap after another. But all of these various collisions are broadly quite kind, none of them bagging you damage except for smashing when you crunch into a barrier, which usually happens as the result of taking a corner just a little bit too fast. Sideswipes can otherwise feel the most punitive. Entirely spinning a car from its intended direction can be brutal. But here, your friend hasn't taken you out of the race entirely. They've just gently suggested a new route for you to take. Because Joyride has tracks that ultimately don't care about what direction you cross the line. So long as you touch each checkpoint in order, you're up for the win. And sure, there's a suggested order by the way that the track is laid out, but there's plenty of opportunities for play here. They push you into these silly situations where you handbrake turn to gently tap a checkpoint, and then run the rest of the course effectively against the grain. It's not terribly uncommon to see people reversing into checkpoints or getting shunted through them by another racer. And it's all this stuff that builds up into a picture of Joyride as a silly, silly game, but there's a surprising amount of nuance here. I want to stay in a high gear so I'm first over the line, which means I'll be rolling more dice even if it's risky. And I'm going last this turn, but if I gear up to gear 5, I'll take 2 turns back to back. That'll get me away from these 2 chumps and closer to pole position. I'll lock just enough dice to crest this corner and then roll the rest. Dangerous. Oh, but wait! I can slow myself down with the car in front of me, gently pushing them directly into a mine. And alongside mechanics that are deeper than they first appear, Joyride makes a lot of simple decisions in the favour of fun, in favour of drama. Each car comes with a little triplet of abilities that will gently bend the rules. Perhaps you'll pick the Muscle, a versatile motor that'll let you swing the rear of your car around whilst lurching into enemies. Maybe you'll choose the high-risk Hot Rod, a car with a load of tools for speeding up, but not so many for slowing down. The Off-Roader is an absolute powerhouse, constantly chugging forward, and the Junker is falling apart every turn. These all give you a playstyle and a personality, a suite of tools that get you out of a pickle when someone nudges you in an unexpected direction. And this dovetails nicely into how Joyride deals with runaway leaders. Usually these abilities are one use only, for the entire race, but there is an opportunity to refresh them if you're a little bit behind. If you finish the first lap in pole position, your items stay locked off, but if you come in second, you get one of them back. Third place gets 2, and fourth place gets all 3 of their abilities refreshed. It's a simple bit of rubber banding that makes flagging players feel like they've still got a chance. Anticipating they're going to get all their abilities back, they're more likely to bust them all out in a dazzling display of power that'll get them back in the race. And I haven't even talked about the items. Crossing certain checkpoints will give players a random item, Mario Kart style. Everything from missiles that fire out your car and blow up whatever they hit, oil slicks that force frustrating turns, or nitrous that might send you steaming forward or self-destructing. The delight of these items is that they rest on the age-old tradition of crab bucket balancing. If one player is getting too far into the lead, just yank them back down. I once saw a game where a player used their nitrous to shunt another player as far as they could, just so that player could turn and fire a missile at their friend. And I think that's beautiful. All of this is gorgeously wrapped up in PyPar's artwork. Holy moly, look at those colours! There's a really sumptuous amount of detail in the borders of the tracks, in the player dashboards, in the cars themselves. I especially love these almost character sheets in the track guide, with big, splashy, full bleed art of each racer, the car's name, and the driver's name. Holly Shift, the Bionic Nan, Bad Bob. Let's be real, Bad Bob is the best. No one really cares about anyone else. I think I've really only got 2 very petty gripes with this one. And the first is that sometimes your turns can get a little bit slowed down by calculating the exact movement of where your car is going to go. Especially in people's first games, I found us relying a lot on a sort of ghost car to plan out our movement before we executed it. This was mostly the result of the player powers messing with the basic movement. I still don't think we're getting handbrake turning right, no matter how many times we use it. Just something about it messes with my brain. I guess the real criticism here is that the game offers you lots of opportunities to do something cool, but then sacrifices its pace and pep whilst you execute that cool stuff. And to be fair, this stuff doesn't happen tremendously often. And the stuff that does happen very often, like big collisions, that stuff resolves almost instantly and intuitively. I will say that it's the kind of game where I'm less laser focused on rules perfection than I am with just having a good time. It's a little bit like role-playing in that way. The rules are there to facilitate the fun. If someone gets a couple digits wrong here and there, but everyone's still smiling, then who really cares? My only other gripe is that I kind of wish there was just a lick more variability in the main box. Joyride has a huge amount of expansion content already. There's loads of this stuff, split across multiple boxes. And that's fine. I like that there's a whole bunch of extra stuff for people who want to dig into this system further. It's great that it's all there. I just maybe wish there was one more racer, maybe one more item in the base game box just to spice things up a little bit. And you know, I think I'm going to recommend Joyride Survival of the Fastest. I think it's just so straightforwardly fun, playful, daft, but with plenty of little weird nuances to keep you coming back for more. But before you buy this game, you must ask if you need it. Because, to me, it's true. Joyride, Heat, and Thunder Road, they form a perfect triangle. And you might only need 1 point of that little trio. If you've already got Heat, then why don't you buy your friend Joyride, and another friend gets Thunder Road, and then you've got all your bases covered. You've got the whole spectrum of silly racing game under your collective roofs. I'll be Dr. Heat, Matt will be Professor Thunder Road, and you will be Lieutenant Joyride, all joined together in our love of pretending to drive miniature cars.